Hi guys! I've been super inspired by all the content that people are sharing that I decided to also share something. For the next couple of days, I'm gonna give you some little snippets of my JavaScript class, JavaScript What the Fuck. And we are gonna start with how the internet works. How does it work? Well, we will see now. Let me take you through it. So let's think of that scenario that you are sitting in front of your computer and you want to visit a site, the internet. So you open your browser and you type something in and then you see a website. Pretty straightforward, huh? But let's look into it a bit more detailed. When you talk about the internet, there are two terms that you will see a lot, and these are the server and the client. And in order to understand what the server and the client means, you can really think about a situation in the restaurant. So you are in a restaurant, obviously not these days, but in general, let's say you want to order a pizza. So you are asking the waitress or the waiter, and you order a pizza. So you are the client, and then you ask the server to get you something. And in the end, you will receive your pizza and everyone's happy. So in the world of the internet, the server is the institution, the entity that provides you with your internet site. And you, the client, are requesting it. And then there's also something else, which is a big fat wire. And I don't know if many of you are aware of this, but when we think about the internet, we think about Wi-Fi. It's there. I log into it on my phone and I have it available. But eventually, the internet is still in its very basics infrastructure. It's a lot of big cables all around the world, connecting continent to continent, and make it possible that we can all be in the internet together. So what you're seeing when you're, or well, what you're using when you're using Wi-Fi is really like the last step. So there is still a physical cable that connects to your house, and then the Wi-Fi is just there because you are plugging in a Wi-Fi router in your home. So yeah, so we have the big fat wire, and we have a client, and we have a server. So now let's go through it step by step. First, you as the client, let's say, request a website that is gmail.com. And the first step where your request goes to is to your internet service provider. That could be Telecom, Tele2, depending on whom you have a contract with. After that, your internet service provider is forwarding your request for the website to something that is called Domain Server Registry, short DNS. And what the Domain Server Registry does is actually translating the URL that you chose, the domain, into something that is called an IP address. That are the numbers that you see there. And the reason why we need a domain server registry is that no one of us wants to remember this string of numbers if you want to visit a website, right? So the domain server registry is really like almost a phone book where you get that name URL and then you're translating it to a physical address. So that is like saying where you live, your postcode, something like this. And that address is where your server or the server is that has the website that you actually want to see. So your domain server registry translates the gmail.com domain into a IP address, and then your request finally ends up with the server. And now we are getting a response from the server. So the server is sending back, in most of our websites, some kind of HTML, some kind of CSS, and then most of our websites also have JavaScript. All of these files get chopped up into little byte bundles, and then they get sent through the wires, through the internet service provider, back to us as the client. And there we have our website. That was it. And stay tuned for more updates in the coming days. Bye.